ignoring science in favor of populist leaders who tell you that the floods and the fires and the disease are unrelated to your own actions, valuing profit over survival, treating minor inconveniences as assaults on your freedom.
Hey everybody, this is Raiden, and the OWN was strong in that exposition. James Gunn nuked the woke from space right there. But more on that a little bit later. Right now, Peacemaker. The series was a fun watch, it was entertaining, and that's all we ask, right? In that business of entertainment? Entertain us? Well, James Gunn did just that, and he vented his frustration the way a writer does, in analogous fashion. So a quick descriptor of Peacemaker. Oh, it's Men in Black meets The Tick in an R-rated setting. They went the 80s glam rock nostalgia route. Similar to Cobra Kai. Peacemaker's got a muscle car just like Johnny. They mentioned Cinderella of all the 80s bands. Cinderella. Nothing for Nothing was my anthem in junior high. Thinly veiled songs about drug abuse performed by men dressed as women. And we're the intolerant ones. Well, there was messaging in the show, like all stories, but it wasn't overt, shoved in your face, this is what I've been told to believe and you should too, kind of messaging. Until Gunn threw that last running haymaker that landed with that solid thracking sound of dislocating bone and tearing ligament. Like a cynic would come at this and would say, well, Peacemaker, he has a bad dad. Oh, here we go again. Never mind Adebayo's mom, just gloss that over. Well, those people, they need to stop. Because they can only outrage bait so much before the audience just realizes that's all they ever had and just walks away. Because Peacemaker and Adebayo, they're the, you're not your parents. Like, just because you came from a certain place doesn't mean that you are that way. And it's proven through their journey through the story. Peacemaker coming from a background of racism. And really bad racism at that. His dad tried to insult Sophia by calling her Lucy Lou. Yeah, insult her by calling her one of the most beautiful women. And that's like someone trying to insult me by calling me like some good-looking Spanish guy's name. Like, Raiden, you William Levy-looking punk. It's like, I don't think I have the jawline, but thanks. Peacemaker and Adebayo's storyline illustrates that you can't just pigeonhole people based on their background, because Peacemaker eventually ends up becoming best friends with her, even though if you make a snap judgment based on his upbringing, he's supposed to hate her. And speaking of that character, Adebayo, whichever one. Yeah, her character is the one that doesn't quite work out in this show, because she was written with a nepotism plot hook. Everyone hates nepotism. Someone gets a job they're not qualified for, they shouldn't have, but they got it because they're related to someone higher up. That's why she was presented that way. We're not supposed to like her. Her character was supposed to win us over during the course of the show, which didn't happen, because she didn't really get a chance to, didn't have a lot of opportunity. Her and Economos should have been one character, because Economos didn't really have much to do, and his confession at the end would have been better served coming from the character who was trying to win us over, because by the end she just didn't do enough to dissipate that foul cloud of nepotism that she was introduced through. And then there's Harcourt, badass fighter lady preset number 7, who's built like a human Ferrari. Did you see the arms on her? Shades of Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2. But even she developed the beginnings of a personality by the end of the season. Now we get to the butterflies. James Gunn venting his frustration. Because it started as just this cookie cutter, stop the invasion, save the world storyline. But it ended up being parallel to those old Red Scare movies of the 50s or 60s, the body snatchers, the pod people, your neighbor might be a communist. But here it's contemporized into your neighbor might be a woke-tard. This is Gunn writing about when he got canceled. People he thought that he knew just turning on him and throwing him away. What happens when a butterfly takes someone over? They look the same. The person still has their memories. You can still relate over shared past experiences, but that is not the same person you knew. There's something else now. Because the butterflies took over the authorities. They smeared Peacemaker. They fabricated evidence from fabricated evidence. And when Goff started spouting that authoritarian hive mind bullshit at the end, oh my goodness, Gunn went for the throat the only way a writer can. He called out everyone who regurgitates that nonsense, equating them to non-people. They're alien brain bugs that need slurm to live. Don't assign any value to what they say because it's coming from a place of inhumanity. It makes the scene where they killed Mern so much more sinister, too. His big crime was being divergent of thought. He was guilty of wrongthink, so his punishment was death. So yeah, there is a little messaging in here, but it's going hard the other way. It was an entertaining show with some layers to it. Definitely worth a rewatch. And just as a stupid little addendum, the podcast that comes after the show, the co-host, the guy, dude, put down the curl bar and do a shoulder press for once in your life. I've heard about skipping every leg day, but skipping every shoulder day? Come on.